There are a ton of items in Grounded, and most of them have some sort of use, while on the other hand, some of them are completely useless. So today I'm going to turn these useless items into something useful. Before we begin, only 12% of you are subscribed, so if you can go ahead and subscribe down below, I'd really appreciate that, and let's jump straight into today's video. The first item on the list is going to be the Lure Trap, which is quite easy to craft as you only need 2 flower petals and 2 sprigs. Once crafted, it does exactly what it says and it lures creatures. But don't get too close to the trap, because if the creatures are aggressive, they're going to aggro to you and they're going to completely stop getting lured by the trap. So how can we update the Lure Trap to be actually useful? And that is going to be using the slurries in the game. Depending on which slurry you have, you can place it in the inventory of the Lure Trap. For this video, I'm going to put it on top, and then you can go ahead and emit that slurry, which will attract all the nearby creatures that like mushrooms, such as weevils. If you use the plant slurry, you're going to attract all the aphids in the backyard, and if you use the rotten meat slurry, you're going to attract all the gnats. With this update, you're now able to passively farm weevils, aphids, and gnats in the backyard for their food. So think of it as a waft emitter, but it's only going to work against the passive creatures. This can also be used to completely remove the player-made traps, as sometimes these traps don't even work, as some of the creatures get stuck on the ramps before they fall in. And in this footage here, you can already see they are already going after the new Lure Trap design. The next item on this list is going to be the Burgle's Spare Eyes, which costs 50,000 raw science in the science shop in New Game Plus, meaning you need to complete the entire story of Grounded, then go into New Game Plus and get 50,000 raw science to acquire this item. What this item does is once you equip it, it turns your vision completely blurry and pixelated like you are a robot. And that is pretty much it, unless you upgrade this down the sleek path, which gives you plus 25% crit chance if you use the Burgle Spatula weapon, which is another completely useless item. So how can we make the Burgle's Spare Eyes more useful? And that is quite simple. You spend raw science to gain a temporary buff for your player. This can either be plus attack, plus defense, attack speed, HP, stamina, you name it, pretty much every single bonus effect in the game. As when you're in New Game Plus, you have so much raw science, you have pretty much nothing to do with it other than duping items. So this could be a great way to spend your science for temporary buffs when fighting bosses. And the more raw science you spend, the more buffs you have at once, allowing you to shred the bosses in the backyard, but there will be a giant cost of raw science, as depending on what New Game Plus you're in, this will increase the raw science amount needed for the buff. But this will be completely balanced, as if you didn't already know, the higher the New Game Plus you are in, the more raw science you gain. This buff will also only be applicable if you have the Burgle's mask on, as if you have the buffs on and take the mask off, you're going to instantly lose all your buffs, making it so you can't just put the mask on, activate the buffs, take it off, and put on another piece of headgear. The next item on this list is going to be the Shinobi Sneeze, which is going to cost 3 pollen and 1 grub hide to craft. This is a single-use item which turns you invisible, de-aggroing combat off creatures. During the invisibility state, you're also going to get reduced damage, which is going to lower the damage you deal by roughly 90%, and once you use this item, you're also going to lose a small amount of HP. So how can we make this item more useful? And we are going to keep everything the exact same besides the lower damage. During your invisibility state, if you attack a creature, you're going to deal a chunk of their health bar, pretty much like the ambush mutation from Grounded 2, but in Grounded 1. This can be super useful when you're in the fire ant nest in the upper yard in Grounded, as all the fire worker ants are aggressive towards the player, but if you pop a Shinobi Sneeze, you're able to take them all out without them noticing a single thing, and this also works on multiple targets, allowing you to kill multiple ants with a single hit. This also won't work in the boss fights, as if you use the Shinobi Sneeze in the boss fight, you will not gain the invisibility buff, meaning you can't gain the extra damage. Otherwise, if this was the case, you could just pop Shinobi Sneezes, hit once, pop it again, and take out the boss without it dealing any damage towards you. The next item on the list is going to be the Fancy Fletchling Trinket, which is a low % drop rate from Crow Feathers. This has the effect of effortless arrows, which reduces your exhaustion timer when using bows. So pretty much when you're using bows and you run out of stamina, the time to regain stamina is going to be shortened. To make this item more useful, we are going to completely wipe the effortless arrows perk, and it's going to gain a new perk of Quick Draw, which is going to allow you to shoot your string bow and your crossbows faster. This will make it for the non-New Game Plus bow players to have a decent bow build, as if you are in New Game Plus, that is where most of the bow builds are going to shine. So for those players who don't want to go into New Game Plus and have a great bow build, this is going to be just for them. And if you wanted to min-max your bow attack speed, you can chuck on the Antlion armor set, which gives you another stack of quick draw, allowing you to shoot your string bow and your crossbow like if they were machine guns inside of the backyard. To make this build balanced in New Game Plus, you can only have 2 stacks of quick draw at a single time. So if you have a build that uses 3 stacks of quick draw, you're only going to gain the effect for 2 of the stacks. The next items on the list are going to include all of the bits of human food. This includes the Billy Hog Bite, the Donut Chunk, and the apple and cookie sandwich bits. These can be found when breaking human food around the backyard or inside of ant hills, and no, these are not to be confused with the fresh counterparts. And their main use is to slightly increase your hunger. So how can we make these items more useful? And that is quite simple, by using their bits to craft a special meal depending on which bit you use. Such as the cookie sandwich bits, if you craft a meal, you're going to gain a sugar rush, which is going to increase your movement speed, and this can be used for speedrunners who want to speedrun the game, or it can be used if you just want to traverse throughout the yard and collect a ton of resources. The Billy Hog Bite is going to craft a meal which will increase your defense, as the Billy Hog is a protein which increases your muscles, allowing you to tank more attacks. This meal is perfect for those players in single player and or multiplayer who want to roleplay as the tank player, allowing them to take all the hits but take barely any damage. The next meal is for the apple bit, and once consumed, it is going to increase the healing you receive, as apple bits are going to be refreshing, which allows you to heal wounds faster. This meal will be perfect for those players who are rocking a lifesteal build, as it's going to increase the healing you take, pretty much making you invincible. And finally, if you use donut chunks in a meal, you're going to gain another sugar rush, but instead of it being in your legs, it is going to be in your arms, allowing you to attack faster. This meal is going to be perfect for those summoner build players, as the faster you hit, the more chances you can summon your own summons. To make these meals balanced, they are also going to include some fresh chunks in it as well, so you can't just go to all of the anthills, steal all their food, and craft these meals. The final item on today's list is going to be the decoy bait, which is going to cost 5 algae, 1 raw tadpole meat, and 1 water flea meat to craft. This is quite similar to the lure trap, but instead of it being a building, you can hold it in your inventory and throw it towards a creature, which will lure them towards it. Just like the lure trap, if you get too close to the creature that is on the decoy bait, they are going to drop aggro off the bait and go straight to the player. So how can we make this item more useful? And it's quite simple. All we need to do is make the bait poisonous. Once the creature is attracted by the bait and eats the bait fully, they are now going to be poisoned, which is going to slowly tick down their health bar until they eventually die. But you need to make sure the creature eats all of the bait, and if you disturb them while they eat the bait, the poison won't be as potent, as if they don't finish the full meal, the poison won't fully kill them. To balance the decoy bait out, the more creatures that eat the same single bait, the less potent the venom is going to be towards them, so you can't craft a single decoy bait, throw it into an anthill, and expect that single bait to take out the entire colony. And that there is the end of today's video, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video, and if you did enjoy today's video, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and heck, even comment down below if you want me to do a part 2, or if you agree or disagree with how I would make these useless items more useful. Before I go, I would like to say a massive thank you to my channel members and my tier 3 members. Idiot Plays, Was, The Stitchman, Janky, Nano, and Coconut. I appreciate you guys a lot, and for all that said, guys, I will catch you guys in the next video.